Welcome to Insights with George Kovoor. I've been reflecting on the whole issue of leadership. Leadership is such a vital dimension of Christian ministry. And the Bible clearly tells us that in a context where there is no vision, that context is doomed to failure. In other words, one of the things that I am clearly trying to advocate is that leaders bring vision with them. Now, in today's world, particularly in the secular world, in the corporate world, and if you go to a bookstore anywhere around the world, you'll find that there are large numbers of how to do it books on leadership and various kinds. And they're all very glossy pictures, and they all give you the image of a leader who has made it to the top. Power, prestige, privilege. And those are the kinds of images that go. And today we think of the corporate CEO model as a model of leadership. Well, there are a whole range of models of leadership that I have seen around the world. The tribal chief model. I have seen the Maharaja model of leadership. I have seen other interesting models. But the model that really gets me excited is the model that our Lord Jesus offered, the model of a servant leader. But one of the great images of leadership that we find both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament is the metaphor of a shepherd. Now, this isn't unusual because actually, when you look at the topography of Palestine, and especially when you look at the topography of Judea, you know that that region is a central plateau. And all the way from Bethel to Hebron, a distance of about 35 miles, and maybe in some parts between 14 to 17 miles across, you have a very pastoral landscape. It's not primarily an agricultural landscape. It is very much more a pastoral landscape. And what you would see there would be sheep and shepherds. And the image of a shepherd would be a very dominant image in the landscape of Judea right through the centuries. Now, that is a far cry from the picture of the corporate CEO. And I wonder if there are some essential characteristics that you would see in the life of a shepherd. And I would suggest that looking at the topography, looking at the geography, looking at the cultural and anthropological historical context of Palestine, you would be looking for things like a shepherd must be an individual who is constantly vigilant, who is alert, in terms of being constantly looking out for potential dangers, looking for prospective fresh pastures, because there wasn't that much grass around for the sheep to graze. And as a result, the sheep would tend to wander. And of course, there are these sharp, sheer drops down to the craggy deserts. And therefore, the shepherd had to have his wits around him. Secondly, the shepherd had to be an individual who was fearless, who had courage. And this, of course, is another characteristic that we are looking for in Christian leadership, men and women who are fearless and courageous. And this